great crowd of people around is awesome.
Fabulous to see that we don't forget them.
A simple act, it doesn't take much time.
The last few Remembrance Days saw much smaller crowds down here at the National War Memorial. Today, the streets were filled with people. I'm Jeremy and I'll have that story coming up.
The remains could be from Conch, could be from Grand Bank, the remains of the individual could be from anywhere on this island.
It's been a centerpiece of remembrance for more than 98 years, and for the centennial, big plans to revive it. Good evening and welcome to a special 30-minute edition of Here and Now on this Remembrance Day. We begin tonight at the National War Memorial in downtown St. John's. That's where an annual Remembrance Day ceremony took place this morning. During the pandemic, people across the province were encouraged not to gather together. But as you're about to see, hundreds returned to Duckworth and Water Street this year to pay tribute.
Got those made up there last year. Kim Follett made them as a tribute to my grandfather and my son for his great-grandfather. Victor Taylor served First World War, Blue Putty. One of the 68 that came back, roll called next morning, July 1st. His cousin Charles was killed that morning. It's great respect that I can show him and my other grandfather who fought as well. And we had a lot of other family members in First and Second World War. And to come down here, see the great crowd of people around is awesome.
Remembrance Day is important, a lot. Really important. It focuses on those who've gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and those that still serve, that make that commitment every day.
This is great to see this many people out and support. It's overwhelming. We've been locked up for so long, and we were down here actually last year, but it was just minimal people. But to come down and see the amount of people today, even we were at the Field of Honor this morning at 8 o'clock, and the amount of people that was there was phenomenal. There's usually just a handful of people, but this morning there was probably close to 100 people.
It means quite a bit to me, especially the people before that served and the people that are serving today. Just a bit of history. My dad was Royal Navy during the Second World War, so it's a bit special. It was great to see. Fabulous to see that we don't forget them.
Mom's brothers were vets, and I find it just important to be a part of their memory and all those who have served, those who still serve. It's just important to be here, and it's a simple act. It doesn't take much time.
I've learned a lot of it about my family and my family history, and I've learned some of it in school, but I really think that it's really important that my father's telling me it, and my parents are, and my family is. It means a lot to me to remember them and to respect them for what they gave to us, and overall just how much they did.
A Labradorian laid a wreath at the National Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa today. Sarah Leo is a 21-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces. You'll see her there just to the right of your screen. She was asked to lay a wreath on behalf of the National Inuit Organization, the ITK. She's also the Chief Operating Officer of the Nunatsiavut Group of Companies. Leo, who's from Nain, says the invitation was an honor. We have an update tonight on a plan to refresh that National War Memorial in St. John's ahead of its 100th anniversary, and the plans for a tomb in honor of an unknown soldier. Here in Now's Terry Roberts has this feature report.
For 98 years, this has been the center of remembrance in St. John's. 5 bronze sculptures standing atop a large granite base. The largest, a female figure representing the spirit of Newfoundland, holding a torch, a symbol of freedom, inspired by John McCrae and his famous poem, In Flanders Fields. The stone and statues, the bronze plaques, an eternal reminder of the cost of war, of the men and women who served, and those who sacrificed it all, at places like Beaumont Hamel, where the Royal Newfoundland Regiment was shattered during the First World War. A generation of young men cut down, in many cases their bodies never identified.
The tomb, as we know it, will come dead center off here and be placed right here.
Now big changes are coming for this sacred place. These are some of the people looking to write the next chapter for this monument, draped in history.
It won't interfere with the wreath laying or anything like that.
The most significant, the creation of a tomb of the unknown soldier.
The remains could be from Conch, could be from Grand Bank. The remains of the individual could be from anywhere on this island.
It's a big deal. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission is in the process of selecting a gravesite in northern France from which to exhume the remains of an unknown Newfoundland soldier. A final selection could be known by late November. One of the conditions, that there be zero chance of identifying the remains.
There's a possibility he is coming from Beaumont Hamel, but it's not a certainty.
It will be the first time a second Tomb of the Unknowns will be created in a Commonwealth country. The other is in Ottawa. This memorial, a downtown St. John's landmark, was unveiled on July 1st, 1924. Called the Newfoundland National Memorial because Newfoundland was a self-governing British dominion at the time.
Why can't we have our own? Because our war memorial predates the Canadian War Memorial by 15 years.
Thousands gathered for the unveiling back then, and it's expected history will repeat itself 2 summers from now.
I guarantee you the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary are going to have their hands full in a positive sense. There'll be many, many thousands of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who are going to want to come here.
Selection of an architect is underway. The job, design the tomb and make other enhancements.
It's so important that we make sure that monuments like this are preserved in the most respectful of way.
This is the modern-day commander of the regiment, proud that his generation of soldiers will be part of the repatriation of one of their own.
He gets to represent everybody from this province who served in almost every conflict. The task now rests on our generation to do this with professionalism and dignity. It's a big task.
In a few years, this place will be more than stone and statues. It will also be a cemetery, a resting place for an unknown soldier who embarked for war not far from here and returned more than a century later as a symbol of sacrifice and remembrance, where veterans and active duty soldiers like these can gather to salute those who came before them. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, this weekend, some of us will see our first significant snowfall as a system moves in for your Saturday. A number of warnings in place across the province. Snowfall warnings, freezing rain warnings, special weather statement, wind warnings, as well as a wreck house wind warning. And then along the south coast, we have a rainfall warning with significant rainfall as well as snowfall amounts, potentially over 15 to even 25 centimeters of snow. I'll break the full forecast down for you coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, another change in the price of gas this morning, this time a drop of almost 10 cents per liter. The PUB lowered the cost by 9.8 cents overnight. Prices vary across the island. It'll cost you $1.88 per liter in Central, $1.86 on the Avalon Peninsula and West Coast. The current price on Labrador's South Coast sits at more than $2.32. The maximum price for gas rose by 5.3 cents per liter on Thursday. No other fuels were affected by the price adjustment. Well, the province will start sending out cost of living checks as soon as next week. They're being processed based on individual incomes from lowest to highest. The money is going to people over the age of 18 who filed a 2021 tax return. The province estimates it will take about 6 weeks to get the money to everyone eligible. Residents who earned less than $100,000 will receive $500. Anyone who earned between $100,000 and $125,000 will get between $250 and $500. Well, the Newfoundland Growlers basketball team is calling it quits. The Canadian Elite Basketball League says the team needs a professional league venue to continue operations, and Munn's Fieldhouse doesn't have the amenities to meet that standard. Owner Dean McDonald had been battling with the City of St. John's trying to secure a lease for the team at the Mary Brown Centre, where the Growlers hockey team is based, but no deal was reached. The CEBL says if circumstances change, it would consider bringing back the team. A A years-long restoration project on a 70-year-old World War II memorial in Outer Cove has been completed, but the team involved has unearthed some previously unknown history in the process. The CBC's Andrew Hawthorne explains.
There are different kinds of casualties of war. There are those that died in the fighting, but there are also those left behind in some way shattered by the losses they endured. This is the story of a memorial to both. John Kennedy is the president of the Veterans Memorial Committee in Logie Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove. He says for decades, many in the community would pass by this memorial grotto on the grounds of St. Francis of Assisi Roman Catholic Church without ever realizing what it was.
I left the house every day. I walked past that grotto to get to the school. I had no idea.
The grotto is a memorial erected in the 1950s by Margaret O'Brien. During World War II, O'Brien lost 4 of her sons, earning the inauspicious title of Newfoundland's most bereaved mother. The names of her lost sons are on the pillar of the memorial, supporting a statue of St. Anne, the patron saint of mothers.
The people that built it, they knew their work. Unfortunately, the foundations had shifted and it was getting kind of shaky, so it had to be stabilized.
The committee raised more than $16,000 and partnered with the Grand Concourse Authority to restore the structure. But that's when their research uncovered something unexpected, that the story of the third O'Brien son to die in the war, James, wasn't what the family had expected.
If it wasn't for bad luck, the men would have none. They were on a convoy to Murmansk and the ship got bombed off of northern Norway. The captain told them to abandon the ship.
James and his fellow sailors were picked up by another ship, but it was shortly after torpedoed, sending them back to the lifeboats again. Then they spent 3 days in the Arctic Ocean until being picked up by a Russian minesweeper. But James eventually died of injuries and exposure in a hospital in Murmansk. Kennedy says it meant a lot to the family to know the truth.
They were flabbergasted, right? They were relieved that they knew what had happened. They were sad that James's mother never did find out, but at least now they got a place. They know he's at rest.
The completion of the project was delayed due to the pandemic, and also because the grotto sits on the grounds of St. Francis of Assisi Roman Catholic Church in Outer Cove, a property in the process of being sold as part of the settlement of sexual abuse claims related to the Mount Cashel orphanage. Kennedy says they were able to come to an agreement with buyer Wexford Estates so that the grotto and the history will be kept safe.
The 2 most important things about this story was, 1, that the family found out what happened, and 2, that all the information that Dale has gathered, which is volumes, are going to be stored at our town's museum and also at the rooms. So they're preserved forever.
Andrew Hawthorne, CBC News, St. John's.
No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend.
Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Okay, so before we get to the weather, some viewers have been wondering about our poppies. So we're going to share a little trivia with you. You may or may not know. According to the Canadian Legion, poppies can be worn anytime to commemorate fallen vets. It's an individual choice to do so.
Yeah, that's right. So the Legion also says that poppies can be worn throughout the remembrance period, including in the evening of November 11th. Now following the ceremonies.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful day it was for those ceremonies in St. John's, at least. We saw some video of it throughout the day today, and yeah, great weather day.
Yeah, not so much through the weekend though. We're having a little quiet period now, but a couple of things are going to happen as we head through the weekend. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. So we've been talking a lot about tropical storm Nicole. It was a tropical depression. There it is. Now it's post-tropical Nicole, and basically 45-kilometer-per-hour wind. So essentially at this point it's just an area of low pressure. And as we head through the night tonight, it is going to merge with this cold front, and it will become another system altogether, and that will head towards Newfoundland and Labrador, well, the Atlantic Canada area anyway, as we head through the overnight tonight and then into tomorrow. So we're already starting to see some of those showers along this stationary front. Those showers are making their way towards the southern areas of the island as we speak, and don't really expect too much in the way of weather as we head through the overnight tonight. Just generally the chance of a few flurries, maybe a few showers, relatively light winds, but temperatures up across Labrador are going to be chilly. Lab West, you'll likely see some flurries through the overnight, particularly towards the early morning hours, but it will be a cold night between -8 and -13. Some of that colder air extending towards the northern peninsula, where your temperatures will be in the mid-minus single digits, and then the west coast central below zero as well, between -2 and -3. Otherwise, along the south coast and eastern Newfoundland, those temperatures should be above zero, somewhere between 1 and 4 degrees. Now, we will see those temperatures on the rise as we head through tomorrow, as this system continues to track a little bit further north. So by the time we get into about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, the heavier, more steadier showers should develop along the southwest coast. But with that cooler air, the corridor essentially along the TCH, we will likely see this start as some snow. That will continue through a good chunk of the morning. And then by the time we get into mid-afternoon, that's when things should change over to ice pellets for that corridor as well. Now, for Clarenville, Bonavista, we're looking at a quick changeover, so you'll likely see this start as snow. Trace maybe 5 centimeters of snow, and then that will quickly transition through to ice pellets, potentially even some freezing rain, and then over to rain, and some significant amount of rain expected. Now, areas from the northern peninsula, say Green Bay, White Bay, and then north, this will all be a snow event for you. Now, by the time we get into the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening hours through central, and again along that TCH corridor, we're looking at a snow ice pellet mixture, and then freezing rain, the story for Corner Brook and the interior. We'll likely see some significant freezing rain, particularly in the higher elevations, the further towards the coast. This will be a rain event for you. But again, along southern areas of the island and even towards the Avalon, that will be rain. Now, this will move fairly quickly by the time we get into Sunday. Nothing really happening. So take a look at this map. I know there's a lot of colors on there, but basically find where you are, and that's what you should see. So at this point, that corridor, like I said, between the TCH, we're looking at between 15 and 25 centimeters of a snow ice pellet mixture. North of that should fall all as snow. We could see some significant amounts between 15 to 30. The further north on the northern peninsula you go, much less snow. And again, towards the coast, these winds onshore, this will likely fall as either a wet snow, not likely as much accumulation, but still looking at wintry weather for sure. Freezing rain, the story in that pink, and then otherwise we're looking at that snow rain mixture, trace to 5 centimeters, and then Alberta rain between 15 to 30 millimeters possible. Port-au-Port Peninsula southward is where we should see that rain that will work its way through Clarenville and the Avalon between 30 to 50 millimeters, but the heaviest rain along the south coast. This will also be accumulated by some gusty winds. We'll likely see some winds gusting between 50-60 kilometers per hour. Those areas along the west coast where we're in that wind warning, especially areas prone to those easterlies, will likely see some gusts in excess of 90, maybe even 100 kilometers per hour. And generally that will continue through the day. We'll see those winds ease as we get into Sunday. Just a quick look at the forecast for tomorrow. Up across Labrador, fairly quiet. Temperatures in the minus single digits with some flurries. Same thing as we head into Sunday. Temperatures will be above zero, but just barely across the island. Just wanted to share your weather photo with you for tonight. Take a look at this beauty shot. This is in Torbay. Thank you so much for that, Emily. If you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Wow, that is gorgeous. Let's find out who's celebrating. Congratulations to Ernest and Maxine Jones, who are celebrating 53 years of marriage. Happy 56th anniversary to Oliver and Bertha Greening of Clarenville. Wishing Donna and Jerry Hayes of Torbay a happy 50th anniversary. Happy 58th anniversary to Lloyd and Mary Ellen Glover from Wareham. It's a golden anniversary for Edward and Dale Hancock of Fort Tow. Anniversary greetings going out to Calvin and Francis White of Flat Bay. It's their 59th. Floyd and Olga Shears from Rocky Harbor are celebrating their 69th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Ron and Betty Lou Carver of Mount Pearl. Wishing Clarence and Irene Shears of Happy Valley Goose Bay a happy 54th anniversary. Congratulations to Calvin and Stella LaDrew from Twillingate. They're marking 58 years together. Happy anniversary to Faith and Charlie Squires of St. John's. It's their 61st today. Anniversary greetings going out to Donald and Lisa Hurd of St. John's. They're celebrating 67 years of marriage. Happy 60th anniversary to William and Mary Jordan of Harbor Grace. Congratulations to Alan and Irene Mercer. They've been married for 65 years. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Paul and Clarissa McNeil of Stephenville. Wishing Mabel and Bill Bartlett a very happy 66th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Ivan and Davy Anstey of Cottlesville. Happy anniversary to Max and Geraldine Stuckey of Cobb's Arm. Today is their 50th. Happy 61st anniversary to Beulah and Gordon Morgan of Seal Cove. Happy 60th anniversary to Levi and Doris Quinlan of Birchie Bay. Anniversary greetings going out to Rod and Dora Parsons of Gander. They're celebrating 51 years together. Happy 50th anniversary to Gilbert and Loretta Easton of Bay Vert. Happy 50th anniversary also to Dolph and Ellen Abbott of Labrador City. Tom and Margaret Crew of Cape Broyle are marking 56 years of marriage. Wishing Raymond and Leona Simon of DeGraw a happy 63rd wedding anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to George and Leela Wheeler of Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 64th anniversary to Mary and Rex Gooby of Queens Cove. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Doris Tucker. She's turning 90. Birthday wishes going out to June Whalen from Capeland Cove. She's celebrating her 90th. Happy birthday to Gladys Blanchard from Pollard's Point, who just turned 102. Happy 90th birthday to Elizabeth Traynor, who's from High Beach and now lives in Dartmouth. Happy 92nd birthday to Lydia Collier from Rose Blanche. Best wishes to Anna Hayter of Carbonear on her 90th birthday. Happy birthday to Maggie Short of Southbrook. She turns 103 on Sunday. 90th birthday greetings to Betty Spurl of Badgers Key, and happy 92nd birthday to Andrew Norman of Long Harbor. Congratulations once again, and thank you so much for spending a part of your evening with us for this special 30-minute edition of Here and Now. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Good night.